It appears that President Donald Trump is talking about sending in the tanks in order to try to tamp down on some of the protests. Now, this is according to a report in the Daily Beast, which quotes 3 unnamed Pentagon officials who have been getting concerned that Donald Trump is looking to use military forces against American citizens. Now, according to these reports, the Pentagon is increasingly distancing itself from Trump's threats to mobilize troops to quell the violence that has emerged alongside some of the protests from the past week. The President and Defense Secretary Mark Esper spoke with governors on Monday to urge them to request military assistance in the face of protests over the death of George Floyd. Now, I remember those calls, right? Remember reading about this and covering that, where he was calling the governors weak. Oh, you guys, it's so weak. You guys are weak. You need to dominate them. Dominate them in streets. It's the only way you're going to do anything. And so even if you don't want them, we're going to send in the military. We're going to send in the National Guard. So yeah, that's what they're doing, right? And so now Esper was, like I said, was on that call. And according to another call leaked to the Washington Post, Esper told governors that the National Guard stands ready to assist and urge states to dominate the battle space of any protests that have turned violent. Now, already, like, you're going to refer to American cities and American citizens as a battle space. This is not, I mean, this is not like an armed insurrection. These are protesters, mostly peaceful, but yes, you do have rioters and you do have looters, right? Those are not enemy combatants. Stop treating this as if it's a war. It is not. All right. So now, according to these 3 unnamed officials, Mark Esper, he didn't really mean it. According to them, they told the Beast that despite the call, they had not expected the president to act on this. They said Esper spoke mainly as a show of support to the president and had not expected a further deployment of troops. So understand that they're saying, oh, no, look, he didn't mean it, right? He just went along with Donald Trump because you got to appease the baby. And you got to, okay, yes, sure, Donald, yep. We're going to be very, very strong. We're going to dominate the battle space. All right, so now go back to watching Fox News and let the real adults handle this, right? But here's the thing, right? I actually do believe that, they thought that Trump was kidding. I mean that's the thing, right? They're like, oh, Trump doesn't actually mean it. No, we're just gonna, echo him, and he doesn't really mean it. It's whatever, right? He can't be serious about dominating. He's just trying to be strong, right? He's trying to look tough for his base. Well, look, Donald Trump's a pathological liar. We all know this, right? But when it comes to anybody challenging his influence and challenging his power and getting others to use force against his enemies and going after his enemies, Donald Trump is not lying. He's not lying when he says he's going to come after you. He's going to come after you. He's not messing around. He really does want to use force against American citizens. And why is that? Because it's not about serving America. It's not about protecting American interests. It's always been about protecting Donald Trump and Donald Trump's interests. And that's what that is. Donald Trump only serves Donald Trump. And it's amazing that these people that are working in government alongside him still don't understand that simple fact. I mean, look, lefty independent media, we've been telling you this for years, right? We've been saying Donald Trump has fascist tendencies. He's a proto-fascist. He would do this. And yet, mainstream media and these, because let's be honest, right? You think Pentagon officials listen to online lefty media? Oh, of course not. No, they listen to the CNNs and MSNBCs and Fox News of the world. And now, suddenly, when Donald Trump's like, no, let's use tanks against American people, they're gobsmacked. They're like, oh my God, what do you mean Donald Trump go full fascist? No, he would never do that. Of course not. Who could have seen that one coming? Except everyone. who literally doesn't listen to mainstream media, who has two brain cells to rub together, right? Because mainstream media, for far too often, they tend to equivocate. Oh, Democrats say this, Republicans say that. Everything's equal, 50-50. Oh, Donald Trump would never do something like that. But he would, 100%. So, yeah, anybody with a functional brain knows that Donald Trump would take the first opportunity to go full fascist and send in the troops and send in the tanks. And so now, Trump, by the way, he is also asked, according to the report, about detailed information on the kinds of military vehicles, including tanks, that could be deployed. So this is a tanks part, right? So now, here comes Tiananmen Square, right? Because here comes the tanks. He wants to send in the tanks. Problematic, disastrous, and yet here's the response from senior administration officials. So one senior administration official that talked to the Daily Beast, he said that this didn't necessarily, the fact that he's been asking about the tanks, right? What kind of vehicles can we send in? Can we send in the tanks? Now, we know how much Donald Trump loves tanks, right? Remember his, his 4th of July parade that he's like, I want the tanks. I want to roll in the tank. I want a big military parade like Kim Jong-un and like Vladimir Putin. They've got the big tanks. I want a tank. Like, he's obsessed. He's obsessed. Now, this official says, well, this doesn't mean he actually wants to send in the tanks. No. Quote, I think that is just one of the military words he knows. That's what the official says. Oh, no, he's not actually talking about real tanks. He's just, it's the only one he knows. So wait, now he's literally saying that the commander-in-chief is literally too stupid to know what kind of vehicles he's actually talking about. That's a senior official saying Trump's really, really dumb. Really dumb. Hey, man, I'm not saying it. They're saying that. I mean, they don't have to come out and say, oh, no, this guy's a moron. Just what they say, like, oh, it's just one of the things he knows, meaning he doesn't know about a lot of other things. I mean, have you ever heard anything like this from the Obama administration, right? Where an Obama administration official says, oh, no, yeah, you know, when Obama was talking about that thing, right? Drones, he doesn't actually know what he's talking about. So you wouldn't actually do that, right? No, never. But see, we have an idiot for president. We've got a moron. But this moron is also a dangerous proto-fascist. And so, again, remember, this administration gassed peaceful protesters in D.C. Also, Donald Trump could go and get a photo op at a church. And that's as fascist as you can get, man. Well, maybe not, but it really is the start of it. And we have confirmation, by the way, that William Barr and Hope Hicks, they both were on board with that idea. Also, that Donald Trump could hold up a Bible in the wrong way, right? and to do this in front of a church that he didn't go in. He didn't go into that church. He didn't pray. He didn't offer, any sort of help for, the churchgoers. No, one of the churchgoers was actually caught in the tear gas. I mean, it's insane. So now understand, right? I think Trump trying to send in the troops, he's showing his desperation. These protests are a direct challenge to his tough guy ego and his power. So yes, I think he's scrambling to do everything he can to try to stop the protests in the wrong way possible, in the wrongest way possible, not by addressing actual police brutality and trying to implement change, but to be tough, right? To crush them, to dominate the battle space. And so he's even talking about invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807. Trump has declared war on the American citizen, right? There are protests in every single state, every state, 50 states. And look, there's not enough National Guard to go in every single state that if things get violent. And I'm not saying that I hope we go in that direction. I'm just saying that that is an actual fact. The point is, though, we've got a desperate, very angry president with no regard for American lives, who is only interested in his power and, of course, his ego. And I'm really concerned that because of how unstable Donald Trump is, he could try to get this further escalated. And I don't know what happens then. And we have to rely on other people in the administration to put the brakes on it. And I just don't have a lot of faith in that. So we'll have to see what happens. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.